Hello everyone, I am CoolGuy. It's nice to see you again. I'm here, I've always been here, and we have the Curse of Osiris coming out tomorrow. We're about to get steady on the channel again. And on Twitter I announced that I will not, and I refuse to make content when I'm 100% not into it, because that's not my style, that's not fair to you guys the viewers, and I will not make filler content with zero depth to it. I just won't do that. So if you're seeing this video, thank you for understanding. If you're here right now, I really appreciate you, because I love doing this, but sometimes you have to take a step back on your own terms. Soon we're going to have Osiris reviews. I have a Pulse Rifle class review that I want to do, talking about them, their downfalls, and how to find success with them no matter what archetype, but I want to see if there are any sandbox changes that are going to be made to them. They need it desperately, and then I plan on doing my very first PvP tip video before the new year. But leading up to Osiris, we had a blog post recently talking about some changes to Destiny, and that excited me, so here we are. I would like to start off by commending Luke Smith and the rest of the development team for not only this blog post, but also their newfound commitment to opening up the line of communication to us, the players, because that's something that we really appreciate. That's something that we need. And Bungie is calling for us to give feedback on the state of the game, and I plan to give my feedback about what was mentioned in the community blog a little bit, but mostly I have thoughts on something completely different in the future of Destiny, because I won't be reading this thing line for line, and some of it needs to be covered with my thoughts, but I'm sure you guys know the majority of it from other content creators or reading it yourself. And I'm passionate about the game, I want the game to succeed, and the game's overall health is very important to me. And Bungie's always been the type of developer that doesn't put their foot in their mouth, they just won't do it. So when they come out and give information, that information is pretty much concrete. It's either being developed or already has been. They don't say, oh yeah, it's just a possibility. They give you very straightforward answers. And that's what this post is about, no false promises. And when I say these things, these words are mine. I'm not trying to speak for anyone out there, and some of you guys might disagree. That's okay. I encourage it. We can talk about it. We all have a voice, and it's okay. We can drive discussion with that. For me, the game and the goal is incentive and community building. Incentive is what drives us to play, giving us things to do with the carrot on a stick. The community has proved that they will grind with a purpose. They will not grind when there's nothing to grind for, right? And I believe it's up to Bungie to provide us with the tools necessary to succeed as a community. And when I think of Bungie, I think of like old school Halo 3 Bungie, and to me, Destiny is a game that takes itself way too serious at times and not serious enough at other times. It's an odd balance, but I see it. I want to know if you guys see it or have ever thought of that. The game should be fun, because Destiny is a living and breathing world that should be treated as such. One more time. Destiny is a living and breathing world that should be treated as such. I'm not sure how much goes into game development, but I can assure you that quarterly updates and sandbox updates, it's entirely too long, especially when we get surrounded by stagnation. I want to say it again, and I believe that this is going to be the solid future of Destiny. I believe that, because when I refer and I think back old school Bungie, they used to have double XP weekends, and these weekends used to be a highlight for players. A playlist was announced midweek, and everyone got excited to play it on the weekend. Destiny needs that. There needs to be something that pulls everyone in, PvE and PvP players, that everyone can do. Activities that, again, bring everyone in. Because in Halo, there were things like Rocket Race, Fiesta, Griffball, Shoddy Snipers, The Living Dead Zombies, Team Melee, and countless others. I'm not asking for double experience. I'm not asking for double token weekends. I'm asking for community playlists like these, activities like these, because these things bring us together as a whole. And I'm sure that they can come up with fun and addicting modes with these playlists. Variations of the ones mentioned earlier, but why not have strike weekends as well, right? Strike modifiers, have like a grunt birthday party effect, have it be like a rotating enemy thing. Maybe the entire strike is hard with only ogres in it, only captains, only thrall, it goes on. Why not have like a sword only strike, right, with unlimited sword ammo, or a cannon strike with unlimited cannon ammo? I mean, there's so many ways they could go with it for the weekend. Various playlists in the Crucible, maybe even, wait for it, a 6v6 weekend. These are the things, I am positive that these are the things that will innovate Destiny as we know it as we go further. And of course, Sparrow Racing, right? Togetherness is going to be the theme. Together is the main thing, similar to how Iron Banner pulls in players. It's for the gear, but why not have the gear in something like Fiesta on one weekend, again, to pull everyone in. Already, one of those weekends is already reserved, a week actually, for Iron Banner, and they can do this. All this would require is a little bit new loot, maybe a couple guns, a new armor set, a new pulse rifle, any of it, all of it. I honestly think they need to get back to what makes a Bungie game a Bungie game. I think that once they realize that, the community will take off and flourish and run with it. Now, onto some things about the blog post. I want to paint a picture. Every reset in Destiny 1, the weapons had a new role on them. What was cool about Destiny 1 is that you could take one weapon, let's say a hand cannon from a vendor. There were perks to have better stability, better range, horrible stability, like in the chamber, Firefly. One weapon could handle and act differently dozens of different ways. And even though it's the same exact one, I always thought that that was special, that was cool. The recoil pattern was messed with. I love the idea of fixed rules, but you have to add something to it. And then they talked about the Masterworks, which have the stat trackers, random rerollable stat bonuses, unique item tooltips, and then item detail screens. That's something, that's a start. And I would like to see something done with the mod system. And I'd like for like generic neutral perks to be added as depth to the weapons. A mod that is Army of One, Grave Robber, Take a Knee, Mulligan, Return to Cinder, Replenish, Cascade, Danger Close, Hair Trigger, and many more from Destiny 1, and a lot more that they can come up with, because the majority of those aren't as deadly as, let's say, Luck in the Chamber, right? These are just neutral perks. And I'd like to see those, again, added and things that they can come up with to give us some variety. That would give us some say in what we use, some individualism, a way to make a weapon our own. And they talk about better rewards and new incentives for strikes. The things, they talk about purchasable things from vendors, using shards. Listen, a core issue with the game is the frequency in which we get loot. Never thought I would say that, but it's kind of true. They said the goal of the update is to deepen rewards for advanced players, provide more player control over obtaining items, and use shards, or making shards useful by adding things to use them for. And then, of course, provide general quality fixes whenever possible. Those top three things, put these together, think about these. Deepen rewards for advanced players, provide more player control over obtaining items by making shards useful by adding things to use them for. Through the vendors using the shards, I mean, really the only thing I'm okay with that philosophy are things like Iron Banner, these timed events, because you should at least be able to get the full gear set if you put the time into the game mode. But when it comes down to it, I want to go out and get the gear with time, right? I want a weapon to be a strike reward that has a very rare drop rate, hashtag Hopscotch Pilgrim, hashtag never forget. That is a deeper reward system to me, along with the Masterworks. I can go on, but basically, again, I want to go out and get all this stuff. I don't want to buy this stuff at my own leisure, because what would be the point of playing? For tokens? Like, that's why we're playing? Because, quote, giving us more control to get the stuff by using these shards, I don't get that. That's the opposite mindset. Activities is what we need, not, quote, easier ways to get the easiest loot that we've ever gotten. This is like time and energy spent going in the wrong direction. And then you see something like Masterworks, that's a direction of time and energy that you need to invest in. And then we step back, because now we have Xur to top all that off with an Ingram that gives you duplicate protection on an exotic. I don't know, they want to deepen the reward system for advanced players, but I really hope that does not translate to easier means, to already get the easy obtainable easy gear. We need an endgame. A lot of this stuff is reverting back to Destiny 1. I'm not sure if they noticed that that system was better, or if they just noticed that it wasn't working in Destiny 2. The overall post does excite me though. Changes were made. They talked about a Crucible with private matches coming up soon, and for a little bit there, I started imagining Guardian Con this year without a PvP tournament. And if you were there last year, you saw it live, you saw the energy, you saw the potential. And the big one, ranked play, is coming in 2018. And here's the deal. I've seen some people wonder why this needs to happen, and if you're asking yourself that question, then the answer is already obvious. It's not for you. That is a PvP endgame. Depending on how they structure that ranking, that is where PvP players would want and like and love to spend their time playing in the Crucible. It's as simple as that. That's their carrot on a stick. That's their incentive. That's what they've always wanted. And what's important to someone might not be important to another person. And once this ranked goes live, I think that the PvP players will live in that playlist if it's structured correctly. Again, I really do. And they're going to try to get to the top the best that they can, and once they get to the top, if they get there, they're going to want to hold that position down. And I never thought I would see it, honestly, in Destiny. Even though knowing Bungie's history, it should have been like a given. It shows that they are listening to us, it really does though, because they have never hinted at that. So it was a big day for the PvP players. It's plain and simple. It's going to make a lot of players happy in that realm of the game, so just go ahead and let them have it, let them be happy in their own little world. Like, that's it, that's their end game. So that's my feedback going forward with this blog update, because you know what? Some of the issues that people see and find with the game isn't going to happen right now, alright? The things that they're implementing over the next month and so on and so forth is a step in the right direction. Again, but what I really want, a change that needs to be made, is with the activities in places already there, in place, like the adventures, patrols, strikes. They should build on those with things like modifiers. Very fun, specific playlist, all of which I went through earlier. Using what you already have and create around it. And as far as gear, the armor ornaments that they kind of went over are a great addition again. And with that gear, we want customization, right? Mods and Masterworks are the first step to that. They can build off of that. So since I've been gone, I've also made 2 amazing podcasts with fine people, Planet Destiny and the RezoCast. Both those videos are down below if you guys want to check those out. I think that once Bungie gets back to their roots and start doing things that make a Bungie game, that's where their creative minds are going to flow. I thank you guys for stopping by. It's been a while. You look cute today. See you guys soon with Osiris, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.